Let's all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let's dive right in with Attorney Cross.
The only thing I have for you is to point out that I sent you a draft of the initial analysis of the legal obligations and assets of WUR. That will be the subject of discussion at our public hearing on the 21st, our public meeting rather. And so take a look at that. I do need to get actual balances of the two first bank accounts, but other than that, I think we've identified the assets. And I think that was a sufficient, definite enough description of them.
So we just need to get the bank balances and put that in, and then.
And I'll send it to Jim, and you can send it to Tim, and make sure they're okay with it.
Okay. Let me get those this afternoon, and we'll put them in and get them sent on.
And then I'll continue to put together a plan. Didn't really say we have to, but I think I will, just to do it as to how it will operate for 25 only. And then just send that to item, see what kind of response we get there.
So a couple of things that let me get your thoughts on. Number one, there are two employees, one full-time, one part-time. They are actually paid out of the soil and water budget. That money has been appropriated. It has been the practice of WUR to bill in arrears at I think it's twice a year.
WR or talking about soil and water?
Well, it depends on the year as to who has actually sent out the bill.
Because WR is just on the hook for 30% of that. That's
the idea is that we need to get contributions from the entities into the general fund, because that's where we pay those employees out of. So Richmond Sanitary District, the county general fund, and the soil and water budget in the county general fund. So we need to bill soil and water for 30%, although they already have their money, it's already in the general fund, so I don't see the point of that. Richmond Sanitary District pays 30%. Union County Soil and Water pays 10%, and then WUR pays 30%. And it's billed in arrears every 6 months, as I understand it. So, my concern is if we wait until December to bill these entities for work that has gone on throughout the year, and WUR essentially no longer exists, should that be structured as part of the dissolution? The payment of, for example, WUR's 30%.
It's addressed in the schedule of liabilities.
But Richmond Sanitary District's payment is not addressed in that, nor is Union County Soil and Water.
Well, all we deal with are the obligations of WUR.
WUR.
And WUR's obligation is only 30% of that. And whether they're a billing agent or not, doesn't really make any difference.
Okay. So we pay that 30% at dissolution as part of the final settlement, so to speak.
I mean, earlier, right? I mean, we can pay it. I think I'd want to pay it when we know the money's there.
I do too. I want to complete the obligations so that we can dissolve the organization.
Are we certain that we've been getting these contributions?
Pardon?
I'm not, but I haven't been in a leadership role except in the last 6 months. So I don't know what has gone on before. They've been, WUR has been separately audited and has passed those audits. Mark, isn't that correct? So I'm assuming that it's been paid, but
We should show seed into the general fund from those entities.
The assistant is part-time, isn't that correct?
correct. So there's
I
one
would
full-time
make that
employee.
change. Yeah, if you look in Schedule A, I identify the indebtedness of the WR. A, bonded indebtedness, there's none. Loan agreements, none. Written contracts, and that's when we talk about the two interlocals.
Right.
And miscellaneous WR contractual obligations, this is data. Prior course of dealing with Union County, College Corner Joint School District. It does not appear to be evidenced by any written agreement.
Correct.
But they reimburse the school for the cost that it incurs to Rumpke for provision of trash, recyclable collection bins, and periodic collection and delivery of contents to Rumpke's collection repository. And then an undocumented prior course of dealing with Union County for reimbursing that county for the cost incurred to Best Way for running its transfer station.
And I believe
I said we'll do that through the end of the year, but that's it.
we also, WUR also pays for recycling at the Wayne County transfer station
Hagerstown?
in Hagerstown, yeah.
I couldn't find any evidence of that, but if it,
Okay, well, I'll double check that with Kara this afternoon. We'll get this hammered out.
that's why we need to get
So,
this.
right.
cut
Is
to
it,
bed.
is it possible for WUR to make its payment for the year?
Sure.
Paying in advance essentially for the work of the two employees?
And that is in the budget of the soil and water, of
Correct.
Wayne County Soil and Water.
Correct. Okay, good.
Along with that, is there any stipulation that where Wayne County, Union County, and the sanitary district could, how would we be able to get that paid? Do we just wait till the payment time, or is it something that can go ahead and be done?
That's what I just
Yeah,
asked, so
right.
I want
Well-
to pay it now.
But you just said the WR is the only one who would be obligated according to this.
All I worry about is WR's obligation.
Right.
That's the only ones we have to.
And I'm with you though. I'm
Everybody
concerned,
else, we
right.
ask them to pay, but
If they do, they do. They don't, they don't.
They don't, they don't.
Okay.
That's,
Okay.
I mean, the irony is it was said these are gonna be county employees and the county wasn't even a party to the interlocal agreement.
exactly.
Right.
That's the.
That is ironic.
Yes. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Which is, another reason to dissolve this and,
It wasn't always every I dotted and T crossed, but they left enough dotted and crossed that we can eliminate it.
okay. All right. Anything else, Ron?
I don't think so at this point.
Just a reminder for you guys that we will be meeting as commissioners in a joint meeting with the Union County Commissioners and the WUR Board on Friday, March 21st at 8:30 a.m. in Liberty at the courthouse in the Commissioners' Chambers.
It gets on the second
Be
floor.
able to get everybody in there.
Pardon?
Are they gonna be able to get everybody in? That's not a very big place.
It'll be okay. Go in shifts.
It'll
We're
work.
going in shifts.
All right, Steve, what have you got?
I don't have much. I won't go into any more detail than I did this morning, except that since I did talk this morning, that subcontractor is here to start the generator. So this is what was supposed to have taken place last week, and that's as far as they're going.
So the
There's no
mobile,
MCU over there, so.
mobile command center was out there.
Yeah, but it wasn't timed with that. It was
Okay.
just happened to be a
Just-
coincidence.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Because I thought that, oh my gosh,
Messed it up already.
something's happened.
Something's gone wrong.
So they dropped off the temporary generator
I saw
too,
that.
so.
Okay.
Now, I haven't heard anything yet from Thor to know when this is gonna happen, but at least they're starting the generator today.
Okay, good, perfect, good.
And then you heard the conversation that I had, or report I had to council on the parking. So are we ready to move?
Parking lot at the
Right,
fairgrounds.
are
Okay.
we ready to move forward with, because I don't think we've met as a group officially. I know Mike has provided us with a generalized layout, but
Right.
it's not a specific layout.
I guess we ought to talk about it a little bit, because the one thing that could kind of throw a fly in the ointment is if the current drain pipe is inadequate to take all of the runoff down to the detention pond. And is that detention basin big enough to handle the additional water coming off of a paved surface? But the gravel
The gravel wouldn't be.
phase wouldn't be an issue, but when it's paved, there'll be more runoff, obviously. So what I've asked Mike and Brandon to do is put together a plan and let us know from a drainage perspective if we need to bring in anybody else, whether that's the surveyor or, you know, some outside. I'm assuming that Brandon can do that, but if they need help, we'll need to address that.
I think that's actually what Brandon's
I think it is too.
engineers in.
I think it is too. So, so I think they'll be able to put together the scope of the operation, taking into account the part of the fairground that drains south, that is north of the main access road. So there'll be more than just the additional runoff from the parking lot. It'll have to handle what it currently handles, which is the runoff from Coolman and beyond that. So that could be fairly expensive if they end up needing to put in a larger drain. So
But you're ready for
then we'll
that
work on
step.
it. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think so, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The sooner the better, so we know what's involved. You know, can we only do part of it this year with the, what do we have, 160,000 in the naming rights fund? And, you know, we can look at going as far as that'll take us. Maybe it only takes us to the gravel
Right.
part, but then we could look at going forward from there next year with the additional 100,000.
Okay, I'll start prodding them along on this then.
Okay, good,
Thank you, Tim.
good.
We need to know that first before they start putting stuff down. And then, once you get that affirmation that we can handle the extra water drainage, we'll need to zero in exactly where this is gonna go.
Right. How many additional parking spaces can we put in? And I guess, you know, we'll need the fairgrounds committee to get back together and give some more input into how many campground spaces can we give up? You know, if the money we have available goes this far instead of this far, do we want to go that far and give up additional camping spaces? I don't know the answer to that. Not sure there's a right answer.
Or we don't
or
give them
wrong
up, and
answer,
if we pave it, it's a premium for those.
Yeah, I'm not
It
sure.
could be, if, you know, you
That
park
was
on a
camping,
paved
yeah.
area.
The only thing that it takes away the hookups.
Well, but if the hookups were in
I know.
in the middle island area,
It depends on how it's designed and.
exactly. So we need to have that conversation with Mike and Brandon too.
Okay.
About leaving some of those, okay. Anything else?
I have a request to hire. They're in front of you. This is the employee who has,
Part-time position in building and
it's
grounds.
full-time. Didn't I mark full-time?
Oh, no, you did, sorry.
We were wanting to make it part-time.
Do you think you could get by with a part-time position? Okay, but be prepared for that question. Okay, full-time position, 40 hours in building and grounds at 1781. And this is a current vacancy
Yeah, it'll be vacant at the end of the week.
at the end of this week, okay. What's your pleasure, gentlemen?
I'll make a motion for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this hiring request. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Do you have anybody?
No.
This isn't for Joe's job, is it?
No, this is an individual that's been on FMLA and he's not coming back.
Yeah, that's the one I know. Have you hired for Joe's then? Okay.
And what's his name that? he's filling
Well,
in?
Joe was replaced from internally. We moved.
I know.
one person, and then,
I'm asking what his name is.
well, he asked who replaced the spot, but it's Brand. Stapleton
Grant.
replaced Joe, and then we hired, and I can't remember his name,
To replace Brand.
Grant, yeah. I don't know.
It's okay. You're just his
Mr.
indirect
Mr.
supervisor.
Mason worker, I guess.
That go down to Bobby.
Sure, why not?
That's all I have.
She'll appreciate that.
Okay, Centerville Planning Commission appointment.
Mr. Wonderseed got a hold of me the other day, and Andy Roberts has agreed to be reappointed, if that is your pleasure.
Okay.
And this is just,
This is in the 2 Mile Fringe.
this is for Centerville's planning.
This is,
Yes.
this is Centerville's
But
plan
it's our appointment.
in the 2 mile,
Correct.
that's right.
Okay. And we appointed him 2 years ago,
You
didn't
need a motion.
I
Yes,
think
we
he
do.
finished somebody's term, didn't he?
we?
Yeah.
Or something,
so.
yeah, so.
I'll be glad to make a motion to appoint Andy Roberts, no relation, by the way.
Second.
I'm sure he
fireman
appreciates
though,
that
right?
clarification.
Yes. I'm sorry?
I said, I'm sure he appreciates that clarification.
Yeah, and he is not, he probably appreciates it more than anything.
We have
I
a
know.
motion and a second to recommend the reappointment of Andy Roberts to the Centerville Plan Commission. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And Bobby, if you could just put together a letter briefly saying that we today reappointed Andy Roberts to the Centerville Plan Commission.
That's what that is.
That's what this is?
Yes.
Yeah, it's got on our letter.
Oh, I thought this was, wasn't paying attention. I thought it was the letter from Dan.
I thought,
I
he didn't
used
like
one
your
asked me
letter.
for it. I know, that's what I
I
thought.
hate this letter.
He-
A little tour of the
He
corners.
reads everything very thoroughly that he receives.
Yeah, that's right.
Some kind of
Formaldehyde.
formaldehyde.
Steve, is there
yeah.
an advisory or area? Or is it, you know,
Pardon me?
What kind of advisory, what kind of plan commission is there? Is there-
Advisory.
You read everything thoroughly when you get it right.
Not that, apparently.
That's
All right, Bobby, what else do you have?
All right, I have from council, I've got a hotel rate increase for one night, $137 for 2-4 and 2-5.
From who?
The council.
The council?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
We have a motion and a second to approve a rate increase for council. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign, motion carries. Anything else, Bobby?
One last thing, Community Corrections is applying for the JRAC grant again this year and have asked us to give them a letter of recommendation.
Is that a letter of recommendation
Yes, it is.
that we could sign if it's approved?
I will make a motion to approve the letter of recommendation. for
This
the
letter
JRAC.
of recommendation?
That specific letter
Okay,
there.
great.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve this letter of recommendation to allow Community Corrections to apply for the JRAC grant for 2026. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. This requires Mark, what have you got for us?
Nothing.
Not a thing? Okay.
Did you go through all those papers I gave you?
I've started to. I haven't gotten through all of them, but I do have a question. Because in the budget spreadsheets, there is a column for, I believe it's labeled revised budget. Would it be possible to track transfers through that column for revised budget? So, for example, if we've got $1,000 in the supply line item and we need to transfer $100 more into that, that would then, the revised budget would become $1,100 and we transfer money out of gas.
Well, in fact, I know. The transfers already show in the budget someplace. I'm not too sure they show in that particular column.
I don't think they show at all, Mark. That's why I'm asking.
Well, they gotta show. Let me check.
I mean, they show, I'm sure they show on some report, but what I
No, they
was
gotta
hoping
show,
was.
they have to show in the budget because we're gonna write checks on them. So it has to be in there someplace.
Okay, if you could check that out, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Did you learn anything?
I always learn things every day. If you don't learn something every day, you're doing something wrong.
Did you learn anything out of what I gave you?
I'm still digesting it,
Okay.
still digesting it.
That's just an effort to guide people along on this thing.
I understand.
Bobby wants hotel rate signature, please.
Do you have any claims?
Yes.
Let's go to those.
First, I have minutes to make a motion to approve the minutes.
Couldn't you do the claims first?
Nope.
Why not?
I want to do the minutes first.
Okay, you might not get a second until we do the claims.
Bobby will argue with us that one on the minutes.
I've got all afternoon. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from February 26th Commissioners' meeting.
Second.
You did get a second. There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of said motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And
Done
then,
this meeting
This is
by
so much
Zoom.
fun.
I should have made this meeting by Zoom to make Jeff.
and
So
then
that I
I
could kick out the plug
have
accidentally.
claims,
You do?
and I would
Could we-
like to make a motion to approve the following claims. Check for clerk for conference, dated 3/4/25. Jury pay dated 3/4/25. General claims dated 3/5/25. Dunflex dated 3/7/25. Garnishments dated 3/7/25. And payroll dated 3/7/25.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the claims. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Aaron, do you have anything else?
No, sir.
Brad, anything else?
No.
Ron? Mark, last chance? Steve? Bobby?
No.
Mike? Anything from WCTV?
I think we're good.
Okay.
There you go.
That being the case, we've exhausted every opportunity for additional.
Do you have anything else?
I
Why
do,
are you asking him that?
I know,
by the way, it just so happens that
sorry.
I would like to, in the next week, move forward with completing the job descriptions and the fleet safety policy and have those on the agenda for approval
Yes.
next Wednesday.
Yeah, when is are we definitely gonna have a fleet meeting this month, cause we need one to discuss some orders of vehicles, so.
So you're going, withhold the commissioner's resolution, adopting that until the fleet committee.
You want to? Well, they've already seen it.
I don't think we need to, that it needs to go back to the fleet.
No, they don't need to see that. They don't need to see this.
Right, let's
document
double
here.
check, make sure that we're all on the
Yeah.
same page.
This-
Yep.
Make sure you don't have any additional
This won't
changes.
go back to fleet management.
And we'll,
Resolution?
Yeah.
and we will put it on the agenda for approval next week.
I like it.
With that, if there's nothing further, we're adjourned.